to the GetRealWealth.com radio show, where wealth means a lot more than just building a second stream of income. Listen and learn how 70% of the millionaires in America used real estate to create a lifestyle that most people only dream about. A lifestyle that includes good health, family, romance, travel, charity, and all the other parts of a balanced life. Now, here is your host, real estate investor and mentor, Steve Davis.
Good afternoon and welcome to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I am your host, Steve Davis, where as always, we're here talking about leading a better life by using real estate to build a second stream of income. A second stream of income that allows you to spend more time with your family, more time on fitness, relationships, charity, whatever it is you truly want to do with the short time you have here on earth. And it's also a insurance against times like these. Now, everybody's being hurt, including real estate investors, but not to the degree that a lot of people are. I mean, people are losing 100% of their income. You know, bartenders, waitresses, nail salons, hair salons. I mean, it's unbelievable that this is occurring. I mean, I realize it's necessary, but it's just awful. But this wouldn't it have been nice if when 9/11 occurred, when the recession occurred, when these hurricanes occurred, that you had a second stream of income? How about right now? Yeah, it'd be really nice, wouldn't it? And what I'm trying to do is encourage you to not let this happen again, because it's not if the next virus hits, it's now when. It's not if the next hurricane hits, it's when. It's not if the next 9/11, it's not if the next recession, it's when. The question is, are you going to do something between now and then to make sure that you don't suffer the way that you are now? Most people are suffering at least, golly, I was going to say 50%, but it must be higher than that. When I drive down these streets, it's depressing to look at restaurants, to look at all these businesses that are just shuttered, and think about the families that are affected by that. So I'm suggesting that you do something between now and the next event like this so that you're not suffering like these people are. It's a matter of making a decision to do something more than the average person does. So at Real Wealth Academy, what we do is we mentor people and take them by the hand and show them how to use real estate to build capital, then to eventually buy income producing assets like rental single family, rental apartments, and small commercial. And these income streams are powerful because they come in for the rest of your life. And legacy-wise, you can leave them to your children more effectively than really any other vehicle. I mean, it's amazing how tax-free it is to give real estate to your children. The basis actually changes the day you die. Let's say you paid $2 million for it and it's now worth $4 million. When you pass away, they now have a basis of $4 million. They don't owe taxes on that $2 million profit. It's really unbelievable how great a tool this is for your personal life while you're living, and to make your life better for your children, grandchildren, or whoever. And today we're going to talk about mentoring and how important it is to have a mentor, because it literally takes, I'm going to say, I've heard people say it takes decades off the, in other words, 20 plus years off of the learning process. But let's just say it takes 10 years off the learning process. That's 10 years of being wealthy that you wouldn't have had if you tried to do this on your own. If you go out there and you start going to the library, reading books, and you start going to seminars and just listening and never really taking action on the material, to buy the material, to move forward and get a mentor, it could take you 10 or 20 years to learn what you could learn in a 2-day class, a week-long boot camp, or something like that. Do you see the foolishness of that? And then you try to put a price tag on them, and the prices are all over the place. I'll admit that. There's programs out there for $35,000. There's programs out there for $60,000. There's programs out there for $100,000. And I'm going to have to say this. You know they're worth it. Think about this. You went to college and paid 20, 30, if you're older, it was only 20 or 30,000. If you're younger, it may have been $50,000, $80,000 to get a degree that taught you how to get a job. You could have gotten a job without going to college. Jobs are free. But you won't invest that type of money into learning how to be rich. I have the feeling if a university suddenly started teaching what I'm teaching, they'd get $100,000 for it. Because they would advertise it. They'd have their credibility of being a university, and you'd have this psychological I went to so-and-so A&M or so-and-so university or whatever. And you paid $100,000 to learn what we cover in our $2,000 program. And guess what? It'd be worth it, because you'd learn how to get rich instead of just learning how to be an employee. Let me give you an example of what's going on right now with the COVID, with people having trouble collecting rent because so many people are out of work or only working part-time. They're on furlough, I think is what it's called, and they're not going to be able to pay rent. What does the average person without a mentor do? They call up, they get irate, they argue, they threaten, and guess what they get? Nothing. They'll never collect the rent acting like that. Conflict creates rebellion. So when you use control, like threats, arguing the contract, it causes the other person to rebel in almost every case. Well, a listener was listening to the show yesterday or day before, and I described how to deal with tenants properly. And he wrote me a very nice email that we'll discuss after the break here on the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. You can call me at 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. You're listening to AM 700, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. Did you know that 70% of the millionaires in America used real estate as their main investment vehicle? You can and should have some real estate in your portfolio. This is Steve Davis, host of the GetRealWealth.com radio show. Starting with bad credit and no money at age 27, I began investing in real estate. By 30, I was retired. I will be explaining this at a free 2-hour introductory workshop this month. If you would like to attend, go to GetRealWealth.com. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. Phone lines are open for your questions, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. You're also welcome to email me. It's asksteve@GetRealWealth.com. Asksteve@GetRealWealth.com. So we were talking about how most people handle tenants. They think that they've got this control because they have this contract. They think that they're all powerful, they're arrogant, and they create conflict with the tenant that really doesn't even need to be there. The tenant knows their responsibilities. They know rent is due on the 1st, if you've done your job properly. That rent is due on the 1st, late on the 2nd, and so on. So to bring that point up is just using power and control. And as I warned in the last segment, what that does is create conflict, because people rebel against control. They hate it. They hate it. So what I talked about a couple of times so far is that when dealing with people who are in a COVID situation and they cannot make their rent, is patience and compassion. And those two things combined with verification. In other words, don't just take somebody's word for it. You have to check up, make sure their company is closed, make sure they really are out of work, and so on. But with those two things in your mind, when you talk to your tenant, you're not going to create conflict. Let me read this email to you from a listener named Kent. He says, I'm following up on your advice to listen to the renter. After listening to him and letting him vent about the world, I then offered my sympathy to his trouble. 20 minutes after the conversation, he drove to the bank and paid the rent in full. I worked out deals with only 2 other renters that could not pay the full amount and will pay second half on the 15th. So 95% of all money is in. He says, I want to thank you and wish you the best. I would hope that somehow you could work an example of this into your show where the landlord might get angry. And I sort of did. So, Kent, thank you so much for the kind words. And thank you for the email, because it does give an example of Stephen Covey's work in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the habits is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand the other person's position, then seek to be understood on your position. And what this does is 2 things. One, it clears up confusion in your mind. Very often, I have assumed another person was thinking a certain way. I assumed that their problem was X, Y, and Z. But after I sat with them and listened to them and studied what they were saying, I found out it wasn't X, Y, and Z. It was ABC. And the ABC solution was way, way easier than the XYZ solution. In other words, the problem was not as big as I thought it was. So I was able to we were able to work it out and come to a amicable solution. And in a very short period of time, listening to someone is one of the greatest gifts that you can give to another human being. It really is. It shows that you appreciate them as a human being. It shows that you respect them. And then the second thing, the first thing is you often find out that the problem is not what you thought and that a solution is easier to get to than you thought. The second thing is they feel obliged. People are so grateful. I think it's called the law of reciprocity, that if you're super nice to someone, they have a tendency, in most cases, to want to be nice to you. If you are empathetic with your tenant, because to deny that COVID's going on is ludicrous. To argue and try to get blood out of a turnip you're just going to end up upsetting yourself, stressing yourself out, having a heart attack. It's just fruitless, to say the least. But when you truly listen and are empathetic to their problems, they feel obliged to do the same for you. They begin to understand, oh, geez, I forgot about that. You've got a mortgage, taxes, and insurance to pay every month. Whew, you know what? I do have the money. I was just scared to spend it. I'll be over there in an hour, which is exactly what happened to Kent. And then the other two, he just worked out a payment plan with. The rest all paid in full. I don't know how many units he has, but it must be quite a few. So that's the power of having a mentor. If he hadn't listened to this show and heard that, he might have gone straight out there, gotten in a fight with all three of them, irritated them, pissed them off, and the next thing you know, he collects no rent for those 3 units. Totally different outcome than he got because he learned something by listening to the radio show. And that, of course, makes me feel great, to say the least. All right, phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-5738. So yesterday on the show, I actually made an offer of 75% off our $2,000 mentoring package. And I'm going to have to do it again today for multiple reasons. One of them is I got multiple emails that they didn't get the information correct and so on. So I'm going to give you 2 choices. You can email me and I'll send you a link, or you can just go, if you can get this information written down. I didn't think about the fact that people might be driving or unable to write it down, unable to memorize it. But everybody knows my email, asksteve@getrealwealth.com. This is, of course, the getrealwealth.com radio show, so that's easy to remember. Asksteve@getrealwealth.com, and I'll send you a link to where you can sign up for $500. Get the day-and-a-half class that will literally cut 5 or 10 years off of your learning curve, and 2 years of unlimited question and answer and mentoring, where we walk you through your first few deals, whether you need us to walk you through 2 or 3, whether you need us to walk you through 20 or more, doesn't matter, we'll do it. But we will show you exactly how to start building this second stream of income with real estate, so that the next COVID event, the next terrorist attack, the next recession, you're not getting hurt the way that you did in the past. So if you want to do that, go to getrealwealth.com/buy, B-U-Y, /buy. And the coupon code is Mastery502. Mastery502. If you can't remember that, you're in a car or working, whatever, when you get the chance, just email me, say I want to enroll, and I'll send you the link and the coupon code. But this is definitely ending. This is Friday. You know, we did it for a couple of days. That's as much as we're going to do it. So it needs to be done today. You know, the other sales pitch I'm going to give you is that, you know why you need to do stuff when you're thinking of it? Because you forget. Stuff doesn't even have to come up. I take certain meds. This morning, I go, oh yeah, get your meds before you head out of town. Guess what I left at home? My meds. Now, why? Because I didn't do it right then when I was thinking of it. Things came up. Had to feed the dogs. Had to feed the cats. Had to load the car up. Blah, 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 blah. Just normal life. If you want a mentor, if you want Real Wealth Academy and myself to be your mentor, to learn how to build these passive streams of income, then get signed up today. Don't put it off, because life will happen. COVID will happen again, because this is unprecedented. But now that they've done it once, don't you think they're probably going to do it again? They're going to do it again. I just think that they've opened the door for this. Every virus that comes along, they're going to be doing this again. But we're also looking at a recession in the next 5 years, I think. I hate to be a speculator, but it's time. What kind of position are you going to be in when that occurs? Are you just going to let it hit you, or are you going to do something about it? Do something about it is my recommendation. Join up and learn how to build wealth with real estate. Go to getrealwealth.com/BUY and use the coupon code MASTERY502. $500 will get you 2 years, or $2,000 2-year mentoring program. $500 2-year mentoring program. getrealwealth.com/buy, or email me and I'll send you the link. It's asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. All right, this is the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. Phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. You're listening to AM 700, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. %70 of the millionaires in America used real estate as their main investment vehicle. Listen to the GetRealWealth.com radio show to find out how you can do it too. Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas. Welcome back to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. Phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-5738, or email me at asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. Got a question off the website from a Greg who's got a rent house, but he's got it on a 10-year mortgage, so the cash flow is only $150 a month. Good news is there's only 2 years left on the 10-year mortgage, so he's got a huge amount of equity in there. He's looking into getting a second rental, but unsure about whether to do a cash-out refinance or get a new loan to purchase the second rental. There's about $160,000 equity in the first rental. Well, the first thing, Greg, there's a misunderstanding, I believe, in your concept. You never pay real estate off. It reduces your cash-on-cash rate of return by 50 to 70%, as you can see from your low rate of return. And you say, but when I pay it off, that $150 turns to $1,000 a month in cash flow. Well, let's look at the rate of return. I'm assuming that house is worth about $180. If you make $12,000 on a $180,000 house, that's about a 9% rate of return. If you financed the house and had a mortgage on it, 30-year fixed Fannie Mae mortgage, you would make about $500 a month, and you'd only have about $30,000 equity in the deal. Well, $400 a month is $4,800 a year. Let's round that up to $5,000 divided by the $30,000 is what? You know, I better get a calculator here, because I used to do this in my head. But, where's my calculator? I have no calculator on this computer. But bottom line, it's the rate of return on a single family house can be anywhere from 18 to 24%. When you have it paid in full, it's generally 7 to 9% rate of return. So you can double, even triple your rate of return by having a mortgage. Here's the other thing. You got $160,000 sitting there not doing anything. I would refinance that house in a cash-out refinance, get that $160,000 equity, maybe it's only $140,000, and go buy 5 more rent houses. Now you have 6 rent houses paying themselves off. You have 6 times $400 a month cash flow. What is that? $2,400 a month positive cash flow for the rest of your life. And if you like paying them off, great. In 30 years, they'll all be paid off. And you'll be sitting on probably $3 million worth of real estate, paid in full. And your cash flow will be somewhere up above $5,000-$6,000 a month. So, Greg, the first thing is, don't think that paying off real estate is the goal. It's not. Then, leverage is the key to a high cash-on-cash rate of return. With those 2 points, you need to understand that you need to refinance that house, pull the cash out of it, go buy 5, maybe 6 more single-family rentals. Now you've got 6 or 7 houses paying themselves off and 6 or 7 $400 a month cash flow. Hope that helps, Greg. Okay, phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV, or email me at asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. All right, got another question here from a Scott by email. He says, I just inherited a $300,000 home in, I won't mention it, in another city. Brother wants to sell it, but I think we should wait until all this virus stuff is over. Could you please give me some advice? I currently live in the Katy area, don't know what to do. Starting to learn a lot listening to your show. Oh, he wanted me to reply by email. I will reply by email, but if you're still listening, I think you're right. I would give it 3, maybe even 6 months to see what's going to happen as a result of this COVID. A $300,000 home is not that far out of range to lease for a while until the market recovers. So you're in kind of a win-win situation. But I would not sit on my rear end and do nothing with that house other than just rent it. What I would do is find out what your brother wants to get out of the deal. I'm sure it sounds like he wants half. Refinance it and get him bought out so it's completely yours. In other words, family members' partnerships are the worst. Just be aware of that. No one ever believes me when I say that. I didn't believe it when I was first told that 40 years ago. But they're the worst. They almost always end in problems. So the first goal I would have would be to refinance the house, get 150 out, hand him the 150, get that property completely in your name. At $150,000 finance, that thing is going to cash flow. It's going to. Probably pretty substantially in the city you're in. Then, when the market fully recovers, sell it, bring that money back to Katy, and go buy yourself 10 rent houses in West Houston. And at $400 a piece, profit, you're looking at about $4,000 a month cash flow for the rest of your life. That's exactly what I would do, Scott. And I will reply to your email as well. Okay. Phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV. I do have one more email. Oh, this is just, it's getrealwealth.com/buy if you want to enroll at the 75% off price, which is $500 for the 2 years of mentoring. Go to getrealwealth.com/buy. I will email you this link, but he did ask me to announce it again. getrealwealth.com/buy, BUY, and use the coupon code MASTERY502. MASTERY502. Okay. Now, if you've got a question for me, give me a call, 281-558-5738, 281-558-5738. I did get a couple of emails from people talking about the point I made about listening first. If you want to study that, get a copy of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and there's an entire chapter, and it's really threaded. You got to read the whole book, but there is a chapter devoted to that concept, and it truly does work, especially with children, especially with your lover, your spouse, or whoever. It's seek first to understand, then to be understood. It really is. It's effective listening. Like I said, it's the greatest gift you can give to another human being, is truly to listen, to empathize with their situation, not sympathize, empathize with their situation, and try to come to a solution that works for both of you, also known as win-win. All right, phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV, or email me at asksteve@getrealwealth.com, asksteve@getrealwealth.com. Okay, let's see, I got one more email here. Oh, this one's got a bunch of kind of personal stuff. I'll answer this after the email. He's just bringing up he'll be on the April 16th webinar. By the way, if you want to, this is our presentation about the mentoring system at Real Wealth Academy. April 16th, we'll be doing a webinar on Facebook and Instagram. The following Thursday, we'll just do a regular one that anybody can watch. You have to have a Facebook account or an Instagram account to see the one coming up next Thursday, or this April 16th. I'm sorry, I guess it's 2 Thursdays from now. If you want to register for that, go to getrealwealth.com. Upper right hand corner, you'll see free workshop. Just click that and you'll be able to register for that, and we will email you the link so that you can view it April 16th. And we're going to do it from 6:30 to about 8. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. So you'll be done well before 8. That'll be 6:30 on the 16th. If you want to reserve a seat for that, go to getrealwealth.com. Upper right-hand corner, click the free workshop. All right, phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV, or email me at asksteve@getrealwealth.com, asksteve@getrealwealth.com. Okay, next email question is, this is a roundabout way. They've asked to remain anonymous, but it's a roundabout way of asking one of the most important questions you can ask yourself, which is, if real estate investing was so easy, why doesn't everybody do it? Well, here's the misconception. People think that just because something's easy or because something works, everybody's going to do it. Yeah, everybody's going to jump on. But I learned a long time ago, not everybody wants out of life what everybody else does. Some people have a very high expectation for life. Some people have a very low. And when we come back from the break, I'll explain, by using fitness as an example, why just because something works does not mean that everybody's going to do it. This is the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. You're listening to AM 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas. Thanks for listening. Did you know that 95% of Americans fail to retire by age 65 and 36% are dead? The good news is that here at the GetRealWealth.com radio show, we know what the other 5% are doing. 70% of them own real estate. We are a mentoring group for new and experienced real estate investors. We will show you how to build a second stream of income that will allow you to retire at any age. I will be explaining this at a free 2-hour introductory workshop this month. If you would like to attend, please go to GetRealWealth.com. That's GetRealWealth.com. Welcome back to the GetRealWealth.com radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis. We are in the final segment of today's show, so if you've got a question for me, you need to call right now so we have time to answer it at 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV, or email me at asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. So we were talking about this question that's very, very common, and not many people have the courage to ask it because they think it's offensive or they think they already know the answer. And it's the question of, if this is so easy, if this is so effective, why doesn't everybody do it? Well, think about this. Does exercise work? Yes. It reduces your fat content, makes you look better, makes you feel better, improves your sex drive, improves your brain activity, prevents almost every disease known to man, slows the aging process, extends your life unless you get hit by a bus. It's insane what exercise does for you. Why didn't everybody do it? It's a tough answer, isn't it? The sad thing is, some people just don't care. They don't care. They're going to let themselves age. They're going to let themselves get fat. They're going to just let it go. They don't care. Not important to them. Same thing with building wealth. Some people just flat out don't care. They don't. They say they do. If you gave them $1 million, they'd be happy, but they're not going to do anything for it. So this program, our mentoring program, this radio show, is for people who do have high expectations for life. They do want more out of life. They do care. And I know that is a brutal point to say that somebody doesn't care. But remember, a person can jump up and go, Steve Davis is an idiot. That is not true. I do care. But watch their actions. Ever heard this phrase? Actions speak louder than words. They can jump up and down, say they care, and do nothing about it. That's an action. And sorry, that says way more than your mouth. Way more. If you're not exercising, if you're not doing what it takes to build wealth, it's because you just don't care. And you need to face it. Or you need to change. If that makes you mad, if what I just said makes you mad, then change it. Go do something different. Start working out. Start learning how to build wealth. I made just 75% off offer. Take it. So that question is a very, very good question. It's a very, very important question. And it leads to this other question. I'm trying to think of what it is that usually follows this question. Oh, I know the one that always follows this question is, if you're so effective as a real estate investor, why don't you just go invest in real estate? Buy some more real estate. Why do you do the mentoring? That one's also, again, an important question, and people don't like to ask you because they feel like it's offensive or mean, and it's not. It's a good question. And the reason I do this is because I love teaching. I love it. When I get an email like I shared with you earlier, where that guy emailed me just a couple of paragraphs, those two paragraphs made my day. If I was feeling down or having a bad day, I get an email like that, I'm up for the rest of the day. I love to teach. I don't particularly care for real estate. Would I ever sell my real estate and get rid of all of it? No. The only time I sell real estate is with the intention of buying more real estate. But I don't run it. I don't do anything with it. It just sits out there, makes money. They send me my check on every quarter. I don't want to do real estate. I want to teach. It's my passion. It's my purpose in life. That's why I do what I do. So those two are big questions that don't get asked often, but I think they're very important. Okay, phone lines are open. Just a couple more minutes. 281-558-5738. 281-558-KSEV, or email me at asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com, which is also the email if you do want to sign up and take advantage of that 75% off. Email me and I'll send you the link to do it. Just say, I want to enroll for $500 and I'll send you the link. Just email asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. Phone lines are open, 281-558-KSEV. Let's go to the next email. Something's wrong with my email. I'm getting the same emails over and over again. That doesn't make sense. Okay, here is, nope, that's a colleague request. Okay, this is a person who wants to join. And this one is curb appeal for a duplex. This could be interesting. You know, let me start off with my bold disclaimer. I don't like duplexes, triplexes, or fourplexes. I prefer 10, 20, 30 unit apartments to these multiplexes. Oh, this is this is actually, he sent me a picture. It's actually a really cute house. And it's a neatly designed duplex. The entrances are far apart on opposite sides of the house. It's an interesting deal. Yeah, I'll email you back the answers to your questions, but curb appeal is not something that I'm a specialist at, but I will give you a couple of tips based on the picture. But I think it's a neat looking little property. Just be aware before you buy it that duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, they are a little bit harder to lease. The clientele who leases them is a little rougher as a rule. It's harder to collect rent, and they don't appreciate like the single families left and right of it. My worry is this is the only duplex in this subdivision, which also makes that a scary deal. This duplex is not worth much more than the value of the single family houses. Even though you say, well, I get 2 rents coming in. I don't care. This isn't commercial property. This is 1 to 4 family, which is considered single family. And you're going to go off of comparable sales. So run the comparables, see if you can find more duplexes just like it before you buy it, and make sure you're not paying. And of course you want to capture equity, so you should be paying 10% or more below what that thing is worth in order to make it a good deal. And then don't forget that 10% or less includes the closing costs. So your all-in price is purchase price, rehab, and closing costs. Don't forget to include the closing costs in your evaluation. So I hope that helps. Okay, phone lines are open, 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV, or email me at asksteve@getrealwealth.com. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. All right, got another question by email. I missed part of the show. I want the link and coupon. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll email everybody. I'm sorry, I just opened one of those. I'll email everybody immediately after the show the link and the coupon code to enroll for 75% off in the $2,000 package, mentoring package, which covers you for 2 years of mentoring, is on sale because of COVID through today for $500. If you want to enroll and take advantage of that 75% off, simply email me. It's asksteve@getrealwealth.com, and I will email you the link and the coupon code. asksteve@getrealwealth.com. All right, let's see if I got another question here. Nope, that's another. colleague request. Cancel rent fire. Nope, I can't answer that. That's 2 pages. I will after the radio show, though. Yeah, if you've got a question for me, don't hesitate to send me 2 pages. Just be aware I can't really do those long ones on the air because we got 7 or 10 minute segments. There's just not enough time for me to read it and reply to it. Okay, and then here's a guy with $200,000 equity in a house. Wonders what he should do with it. Doesn't tell me how much the house is worth. I'm going to assume it's paid in full $200,000, which is a great rent property. I would do a cash out refinance, pull out 160 or 140 to 150 and go buy 6, 8 additional $200,000 rent houses. In other words, don't let that dead equity sit there. Refinance that thing, get the cash out of it, and go buy yourself 6 or 7 or 8 more of them and increase your cash flow and get yourself into that financially free position. All right. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
This has been the GetRealWealth.com radio show. Please remember that this show is for entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as legal, tax, or investing advice. Always get a professional opinion before making any investment decision. To find out about the mentoring and consulting at Real Wealth Academy, visit GetRealWealth.com and attend one of our free introductory workshops on real estate investing. That's GetRealWealth.com. Thanks for listening and have a great rest of your day.